Hey, okay, we're good. Hey guys, and welcome back to Higurashi, Watanagashi Week 3, also Canada Day. Though I guess since this will be posted a week later, it'll be, well, a week later. So happy belated Canada Day. Don't know how many people are from Canada, but I am. But again, not really doing too much today. And I think our government cut down the Canada Day celebration downtown to save money, so that's not good. Anyways, yep, back to recording. With probably gonna see some more Mion and Shion baiting, and I don't know, sketchy Rena. Like I said, I think Rena's been a lot sketchier to me this chapter. I don't know why. It's not like she's done anything super crazy yet, but it just feels that way for now. But yeah, we'll see. Anyways, let's get started. Last time, recap. Rena had that whole conversation about how appearances can be deceiving, which again was super sketchy, but that was fun, I guess. Then we had the whole interaction with the thugs, where Shion came to rescue us, and a bunch of Hinamizawan villagers also helped in a super creepy way. And we also met Uishi, so yeah, again, that was still super creepy. But here we are with Shion in the cafe, I guess. And yeah, let's just get started. I didn't read that. Though you probably read that, but I didn't. After cooling off a bit inside the restaurant, little by little, I realized I was still on edge. I can read that here. There were spots here and there on my body that hurt, probably because I had been so stiff with nervousness. Shion, who had changed into her uniform, brought over 2 glasses of iced coffee. On the house. Hey, the hookups. My patheticness really knew no bounds. But since she went through the trouble, I might as well take her up on her offer. Yeah, free drinks every day. Always take that. Even though it had started out as such a lovely day, it had to get carried away and do that stupid thing. I had completely ruined it. Oh yeah, and I don't know, it seems like Keiichi's kind of is starting to gain feelings for Shion. Though, we'll see if that leads anywhere. Didn't look like it. While a little embarrassed by what she just said, Shion made a show of folding her arms boldly. I was thanking Shion, but I really wanted to thank Mion. Mion, really, thank you. Taking advantage of my words, she seemed happy about my promise. Just weird foreshadowing? Hopefully not. She said as she smiled herself, poking me in the cheek. Wait, you're ticklish by poking you on your cheek? Is that even a thing? Thanks to Shion's meddling, I finally cheered up a bit. A little. All the muscles in my body that had stiffened because of the incident finally began to relax a little.
ちゃいましたからホットケーキとか食べたいんですけど、ケイちゃんも食べます？
I wanted to show a little restraint, but restraint really wasn't my thing. That's why I replied without any. There's the normal Keiichi.
安心してください。うちのホットケーキはかなり評判いいですから。
Shion ordered some pancakes from a nearby waitress. Yeah, I was gonna say, couldn't you just write it down? An employee ordering from another employee seems to be kind of weird.
そういえばシオン、今バイト中じゃないのか？俺とずっと話をして油を売ってていいのかよ。
おじさんにね、私が不良に絡まれてるところをケイちゃんが助けてくれたって言ったら、ねぎらってあげろって。だから店長公認で OK です。それ事実と正反対だぞ。いいのかな？ 全然いいのです。
By the time the pancakes arrived, we had entered into a relaxed conversation. Different view. And I really like this song. As the two of us ate pancakes, we livened the mood with some chit-chat about what was on TV, celebrities, and that kind of thing. Hobbies, food, really nothing more than idle chit-chat. Talking together like this, I once again became conscious of Shion being a girl. Hey now, that's funny talk, Teichi Maibara. Shion and Mion are the same person. If there was anything different between them, it was only whether or not Mion admitted she was Mion. But given that, how come our conversation was this different? I don't know, maybe they're different people. I'm still surprised that Keiichi doesn't even have the thought that they could possibly be different people.
そんなことはないよ。男だったら容赦なくどつき倒してる。
ケイちゃんとお姉が仲がいいのって、そういうノンセクシャルな関係にあると思うんです。それってなかなかできない羨ましい関係ですよ。
言ってる意味がよくわかんないわ。まあ確かに女にしとくにはもったいないやつだよな。
あ、ケイちゃん、それ男女差別ですよ。
Hearing the word sexist was cause for introspection. What was I how do you pronounce that? Prejudiced against Mion and Shion for? Mion was Mion. She was the best friend a guy could have. No reservations and head and shoulders above me when it came to club activities. If I had met her 5 years earlier, my life would probably been a lot more fun. Of this I had no doubt. Then what about Shion? She was Mion's little sister, and it hadn't even been 3 days since we met. Her relationship was much more distant, as the only thread we had in common was that I knew her sister. And for Shion, it was the same. I was somebody she met 3 days ago, only because I was a friend of her sister's. The difference between Mion and Shion? Friendliness? Familiarity? Playing around with those unclear thoughts for a while, I had stopped listening to Shion. Okay. Wait, oh. Sure. No. I hate these kind of questions. Well, you can look at it both ways. Like, you knew Mion longer, and you're probably more of a friend to her, so you should save her. But then you did just make the promise to save Shion, so I don't know. Because apparently these two are always talking if they're two different people. Like, they talk every day at least, because Shion always knows what happens when Mion's around or whatever. So either answer, the other's gonna know if it's good or bad for Mion anyways. She wasn't saying it to tease me, but had a playful tone behind her voice.
嫌な問題だな。
Such a baby
どっちも
question.
助けたいけど、それじゃダメなんだろ。
Just let both of them go.
ダメです。シオンかミオンのどっちかだけです。どっちですか？
If it were Mion, I don't think she'd be in that situation in the first place, as it's something she could easily get herself out of. I don't know why I keep switching around the words. But what about the normal frail Shion? I guess I'd have no choice.
お姉じゃないですよね。
If Mion and Shion were different people, I suppose it would come to that. Yeah, I guess there is a possibility that Mion might be able to get out of it by herself. It's not bad. She should have been smiling, but her gaze was locked firmly to mine.
つまり、そういうことなんですよ。お姉はそのつまり、あれ？
What? Finish your sentence. That might have been.
なんか自分で言ってて破綻しちゃいました。
I wonder if she was gonna say, "My sister's dead," or "dead to you." Shion was trying to talk in a lighthearted manner, but I felt there was something more behind her words. Yeah, that sentence was very eerie for some reason. Was Mion trying to tell me something through Shion? Not being able to put a finger on exactly what it was vexing. Shion, to hide her embarrassment, turned the conversation around.
それよりも、さっきのあれ、驚きましたか？
そりゃ驚いたよ。レナやサトコが駆けつけてくれるならともかく、あんなに老若男女がいろいろと集まってくるんだからな。あれ全部、南沢の人なんだろ？
ええ、そうです。南沢の人は
It's
み
the
んな結束してる
crew.
んですよ。一人の敵は全員の敵。
Not cult-like at all, I
寄
swear.
り見なんか誰もしません。結構頼もしい住民性なんですよ。
Just friendly neighbors.
誰かがいじめられたら、みんなで
Which
結
it
束
could
してや
be.
っつけるわけか。
No.
なんだかマフィアとかヤクザみたいな結束だな。
Agreed.
そんなこと言っちゃダメですよ。
Probably because the Sonozakis are some. I don't know if they're Yakuza, but they're.
とて
There's
もありがたい
something.
ことなんですから。ケイちゃんもそれに助けられたんですよ。感謝の気持ちを忘れないように。
I half-heartedly agreed. I knew full well I should be appreciative.
南沢の人たちって本当に仲が良くて結束してるんだな。
昔からの伝統かな。
That's what I said in my cult theory, that maybe they're cult-like because they're very traditional.
南沢って昔からいろいろと敗走の危機に遭うんですよね。その度に結束して戦って存続を勝ち取ってきたっていう歴史があるんですよ。
The Defense Force.
ケイちゃん、南沢ダム計画って知ってます？
Okay, so he doesn't know about that. I think we already confirmed these are completely different. Or not completely different, but like from 1 and 2. I guess that, I don't know, they're different. Because he doesn't even know about this. Let's see, I feel like I've heard somebody talk about it before.
10年くらい前にね、突然ここにダムができて、南沢が丸ごと水没するって話になったんですよ。
So he's not gonna find those newspapers at all. So I think this is gonna head into a direction where he's not like super paranoid. So maybe he'll be a little more trustworthy as a protagonist. Because that'd be pretty interesting from going to super paranoid to a little bit. To see how the points of view differ, even though obviously the events are probably gonna be different.
中止にさせたんですよ。みんなで団結して。
Sure.
だからこれは
In a way, I
戦って勝
guess
ち取った勝利なんです。
that's it kind of happen like that. That sounded pretty much like the story I heard. The protests intensified to the point where it was featured in newspapers and magazines. As a result, the plan was suspended.
ダムの話そのものは私が生まれる前からあったらしいんです。
Hmm?
最初は候補地調査とか砂防のための小さいダムとかそんな程度の話だったんですよ。
Okay, never mind. So, I might be confused about that statement. Like, the dam thing happened before she was born? Or, like, the plans to make the dam happened before she was born? Because that would change things, kinda. But then, the cat was let out of the bag. If it were completed, it would have been the biggest dam in Japan. Not just Hinamizawa, but several villages upstream would have been submerged as well. The protests immediately began. Petitions to cancel or relocate the project were drafted and submitted to the Diet. They even went so far as to go to the Ministry of Construction in Tokyo to hand over a direct appeal to the minister. The previous landowner sued the government, stating there were inconsistencies in the purchase agreement and the transaction should be nullified. Owners of yet unacquired land split their properties, increasing the number of landowners in order to stifle the project.
土地の買収なんていう
It's pretty smart,
お金の
actually.
問題のうちは可愛かったんです。そのうち土地の強制収用をちらつかせるようになりましてね。その頃からです。機動隊とかの暴力行為が目立ち始めたのは。
機動隊って警察だろ？暴力行為なんてするのかよ。
殴りますよ。蹴りますよ。私も殴られたことありますし。
Well, to be fair, the villagers probably also fought back, since I think in number 1 they said that they were starting to be very aggressive in their protesting, which obviously led to the murder, I think, or assumedly. Yeah. Why do you say it like that? Saying that she had indicated her temple by poking at it? Really? Filing a complaint against the riot police for police brutality would seem kind of strange for some reason. Naturally, they wouldn't pay heed to something like that. You wouldn't be able to establish proof on who exactly hit you, and they could justify their actions by saying you were interfering with police duties.
うちのバッチャ劣化のごとく怒り狂いましてね。それからがすごかった。もう全面戦争ですよ。こっちも座り込みで訴えるなんて生っちょろいことなんかしません。ガンガン攻めました。
How did that go? First, in order to call attention to the government, they filed a temporary injunction in court. Then, in order to gain public support, they called in prominent scientists to state that Hinamizawa was a valuable nature preserve. They pressured the prefectural and municipal assemblies, saying that the prefectural governor ignored his constitutes when he approved the project and demanded his resignation. They completely and thoroughly denounced him. Naturally, in Hinamizawa, a ferocious conflict worthy of being called the Dam War began, and I'm sure most of those happened because of the Sonozaki influence. In order to suppress the police's brutality, they coordinated with network channels and exposed the violence of the riot squad members to the public. On top of that, they put together a special expose themed around the government, repressing the citizens, and aired it nationally. God damn. It worked wonders. Following that, the SWAT team had their hands cuffed. Day after day, the petitions and demonstrations continued. Propaganda was used to help garner support. The circle of support gradually expanded outwards from Hinamizawa. Either that bore fruit, or the government finally decided against it. I guess this kind of explains why they're so close after going through that whole thing. maybe it doesn't have to be culty. Maybe they're just all accomplices. Because there's a difference between a cult and just the villagers being accomplices in the murder, right? Oh, I think I skipped that. But you read it, so it's alright.
村全部が一丸になって戦ったんです。あの時は必死だったけど、終わった今となってはいい思い出かな。村人たちの連帯感や団結心は今でも消えていないんです。
Yeah, or they can be good people. Again. Whatever. Shion said as she focused off into the distance. I felt those eyes weren't filled with anguish, but rather a sense of pride. Ah, back to normal.
世代を超えて地域で団結できるなんて。
私もそう思います。ダム計画は試練だったけど、それを乗り越えて得たものはとても大きいと思いますよ。
The fear I was feeling until just now gradually began to fade. When people began to show up one after another while I was engaged with those thuds, I thought it was frightening. But now I felt from the bottom of my heart that I had been rude. The villagers prepared to defend their homeland to the death. I mean, it can still be a little frightening, just as the way they handled it, right? They all just like circled around and just stared at them without saying anything and like slowly inched forward. That's pretty creepy, either way. It's effective, obviously, because the thugs didn't know what to do, but it's still, I think, warrants being a little creeped out about it. The sense of solidarity that fostered. It might seem impudent to say this, but I was a little jealous. If I had been in Hinamizawa when the protests against the dam was going on, I might have been able to share in that sense of solidarity.
反対運動の時、南沢にいなかったから、村人たちの連帯感を実感できないかもしれないけど、
Probably not.
しっかりと。
Very thoroughly.
それはたとえ引っ越してきたばかりのケイちゃんに対してもね。
Well, not completely. If I don't think they completely trust us yet. She couldn't have been more right. So many people got together to help me when I just moved here. Even though they were strangers whose names I didn't even know. A hot feeling began welling up inside of me. When I lived in the city, I didn't even know my own neighbors. I thought that was natural. That's actually true. I don't really know my neighbors in my building anyways. But here, that was an absurd and pathetic thing. Even though I thought of them as strangers, all of the other villagers viewed me as a comrade. Happiness and warmth. I was acutely aware of those feelings as they gradually welled up inside of me. 3 times up, I guess. A more senior waitress waved her hand and called out to Shion. It seemed like it was time for work.
はい、今入ります。すみません。もう仕事しないとまずいみたいです。
いいよいいよ。付き合ってくれてありがとな。楽しかったよ。
あ、帰っちゃいます？
まあな。飯の時間には戻らないとお袋がうるさいし。
It seemed that Shion wanted to say something, but she swallowed her words. Looks like we hadn't talked enough, that kind of feeling. Looking at that expression, I regretted saying something that had disappointed Mion like that. I was about to say I could stay for a little bit longer when Shion got up from her seat. Yo, the free food. I appreciate it. Saying that, she showed me a coupon booklet as she tore out a few sheets and handed them to me. Can use multiple coupons at a restaurant? That like never happens. Just take it, KG. You want those free cakes, hot cakes. She said as she laughed, gently stopping me from opening my wallet. Being told so with such an encouraging smile really resounded with me.
園崎さん、すみません。レジ入ってください。あ、はい、今すぐ。
Later? Later. Today was fun. Saying that, Shion smiled one more time at me.
あ、ミオン。今日は本当にありがとうな。この恩は忘れないよ。
Shion, not Mion.
そう思うなら、きっと返してください。
She didn't interrupt him.
楽しみにしてますから。
She didn't interrupt him. Confirmed, same person. We don't know that though. After I said it, I realized I mistakenly called her Mion. I didn't know if she realized it or not. It's confirmed. Yeah, I'm joking. It's not confirmed. It's another bait. Oops. Nighttime. Lazing around and watching television after dinner was part of my daily routine. It might seem like a waste at first glance, but you could say it was an important time when I was able to acquire knowledge of everything from politics to economics to various trivia. After dinner was valuable time well spent while the brain was at its most supplied with nutrients. I just I know it's probably not the best time to say it while this music's happening, but I just realized maybe Taichi's not going to be targeted to get killed this chapter because actually I don't know. I forgot. I thought they like started targeting him after he started like low-key investigating with the when he found the newspapers and stuff and asking questions, which probably like led them to target him. But he really isn't suspicious, and it's almost the Watanagashi, right? Probably next chapter, or sometime this week in the game. So that's interesting. We also haven't met Tomotaki, and I'm assuming because of that, Keiichi also hasn't met him yet. So maybe Uishi wouldn't be talking about it with Keiichi. I don't know, it's all possible. That'd be interesting too. Today I tested my knowledge of trivia by watching my weekly quiz show. Sitting in front of the television, I was able to get a lot of the answers right. But if I were actually up on stage, I'd probably fail miserably. Yeah, the pressure. Which one though? Is it though? It was a little late for her to be calling. I had a bad feeling about this. I had a hunch it had something to do with club activities. Ooh, nighttime club activities? Or tomorrow. She was probably going to inform me about what we were doing tomorrow. This was Mion we were talking about. Still to be Shion. She might even go as far as to say we're doing club activities right now, so hurry up and come over. By the way, it was 8 p.m. Oh, Shion. It was Mion, but it was a very unlike Mion way of talking. Huh? Could it be?
ごめん。ひょっとしてミオンじゃなくてシオンか？
そうです。どうもこんばんは。夜分遅くにすみません。
For Mion, this would have been an ill-fitting, polite way of talking, but since it was Shion, it was natural. Even though they were both the same person. I hate every time he says that. I hate it. Stop it, Teichi. Stop it. With a dry smile, I enjoyed that mysterious feeling. Do we know the answer to this? Maybe like, wait, what's the difference from cakes and desserts or sweet? I don't know. There's no way I hated them. I'm an unabashed glutton. I don't know what that means. Oh? Looks like they're having a new dessert menu every season. So they were hiring taste testers for potential desserts. Ooh. got the hookups
そ
again?
れで担当直入な話じゃ
じゃーんと言われても見えないからわからないけど、
ーんそうです。そのモニターチケットがここにあるってわけです。もしも甘いものが嫌いじゃないならいかがですか？
Not gonna lie though. Shion giving us free
い
stuff?
かがですかって
Pretty
つまり
sweet.
なんだよ。そのチケットで俺が新デザートを食い放題ってそういうわけなのか？
They say to beware of honey pots, but this is sweeter than any pot of honey. Oh, you can eat free desserts? No way.
OK ならモニター当選者の末番に名前を書いておいて
Hell yeah.
明日お店に来たら係の者に名前を言ってください。それで万事 OK ですから。
万事 OK ってそれで食べ放題なのか？無料なのか？
ええ、無料です。結構ありますからお腹を空かせてくることをお勧めします。
This was such a delectable opportunity, it was almost scary. This was really Shion, right? It wasn't Mion posing as Shion in order to bait me into a trap, was it? What am I saying? They're the same person.
はいはい。ケイちゃんの考えてることは分かってますよ。こんな美味しい話があるわけないって思ってるんでしょ？
It's a little creepy. I was trying to say if she knew exactly what we were thinking, and she somehow got that without reading our facial expressions, and that's really creepy. But it can kind of be inferred, honestly, from the way the conversation was going.
いや、そんなことは全然。
And if you know Keiichi, it's not that bad.
お姉から聞いてますけど、つくづく嘘のつけない人なんですね。私、そういうの嫌いじゃないです。
Shion laughed with a voice that sounded a lot like how Mion would laugh. Not really.
下心ってわけじゃないんですけど、実は私、明日はちょっとバイトしたらすぐに終わりなんです。もしもご迷惑じゃなかったら、その後、
Yo
させてもらってもいいかな。
Keishi's in, boys.
明日のバイトはすぐ終わっちゃうんだ。
Oh, and I did make comments of how I like Shion and not Shion, Keiichi and Mion as a couple more this chapter. Not like I don't know. I just didn't feel like anything really relationship-wise in the first chapter, but I kind of like them together in this chapter. I wasn't really thinking about the Shion side either of it, so I'm still down to go with Keiichi and Mion as the couple right now. But
はい。
it looks like they're actually down to go on a date, so. That'd be sad if Mion and Shion were different people because of how Mion made that sad face in like the episode 2.
だから、ケイちゃんがデザート食べながらのんびりしてるうちに終わっちゃうんです。
まあ、俺も特に用事はないし、多少付き合うくらいなら構わないよ。
別にどこかに行くわけでもないです。夕涼みしながらお散歩でもできたらなって思ってるだけですから。
There's no reason for me to refuse. Out of curiosity, I might as well take her up on her offer.
そういえば、ケイちゃんと私ってなんだか毎日会ってますよね。
言われてみればそうだな。
でも、OK してもらえたおかげで、また明日も会える口実を作る。
Remember when Mion said that Shion had a bad personality? I actually kind of believe it for some reason. She feels it's weird. I kind of feel a little bit of fakeness from her, but like not enough to actually like really question her. I don't know, I need to see more scenes with her, but she feels a little fake. Well, Mion just feels like completely 100%, except for that really obvious fate scene after the sad face she gave in episode 2. But other than that, Mion's usually pretty genuine, while Shion feels really... I mean, she feels, I don't know, it's so weird. She feels more genuine than fake, but I feel a little tinge of it when she speaks. Or at least through some of the conversations with Keiichi. What was Mion saying?
なんだか声が裏返ってます。どうしたんでしょうね。
What if it was like, okay, two people, Shion and Mion, and Shion was just trying to like steal away Mion's best friend or whatever. Just out of spite or whatever. That would be bummy. It wasn't a video phone, but She could tell I was beet red.
じゃあ明日と来てくださいね。それじゃあこれで失礼します。おやすみなさい。
あ、おやすみ。
Xian finished with what she had called to say, and ended the conversation without any chit-chat. When I had returned to the living room after hanging up the phone, the TV was already off and my mom was sleeping on the rocking chair. Not feeling like turning the TV back on, I went back upstairs and returned to my room.
俺、シオンに世話になってばかりだよな。
She brought me a bento and saved me when I got involved with those slugs. She was supposed to be a different person, so I could thank Mion at school. Come to think of it, maybe it's so I couldn't thank Mion at school. Come to think of it, she'd probably just say she'll pass it on to her sister. Or, I don't know, maybe. That was right. I have to thank Xian directly. Tomorrow, I'll have to repair somehow. Chapter break. I don't know, this is weird. I'm getting weird vibes from this. Hints though. Details of the delinquent 3. Maybe this is like the police interview after. Mob mentality. Yeah. That's still sketchy. New tips. Just get right into the hints. Always enjoy reading the hints. Let go of me.
クマちゃん、腕を離してあげていいですよ。さささ、どう
Tsuishi.
ぞおかげになって。
The 3 people rubbed their arms painfully. Kumatani-kun, and the others must have been squeezing them pretty tightly.
お兄さんたち誤解しないでくださいよ。
Sort of nice to see you again, Higurashi, even though I don't trust you at all. Kinda liked you as a character.
クマちゃん、冷蔵庫から冷たいの出してあげてください。お兄さんたちは泡の出る麦茶と出ない麦茶どっちがいいです？
Barley.
ん？
They plunked down onto the reception sofa, and despite not yelling anymore, they still had dangerous expressions. What I'd give to be young again.
飲まないなら私勝手に飲んじゃいますよ。失礼してピシッと。
That was cute.
急に飲むビールが一番美味しいですね。
What a phrase. As he downed the beer with glee, the 3 people exchanged glances and finally reached out for their cans. They hadn't stopped being cautious. It was more like they didn't see a reason to refuse. They each opened their cans and began to drink the contents.
お兄さんたちはどっから来たんです？ここいらの人じゃないでしょう。
They looked at each other again, suspicious of whether they should tell him.
お兄さんたち大学生？お友達同士？バイクか何かで旅行中だったんでしょうかね。羨ましいな。
Sounds like fun I wish I was having.
家は近くってわけじゃないんでしょう。どっから来たの？大阪ですかな。んなのどこでもいいだろう。まあまあそうすごまないで。あのままいたらお兄さん方だってやばかったでしょ。
They seemed to recall the thrilling event from earlier. While they could understand getting surrounded by students or a gang or something along those lines, they would never have been surrounded by locals both young and old, both men and women before. And children. It was easy to imagine how scared they must have been.
ここいらの人間ならどんな間違いがあってもひなみ沢の人間には手出ししないですよ。
Oh.
あそこの連中は特殊なんです。子供の喧嘩に親は出てくるな。
So I guess,
一人をいじめたら、
I guess they're probably... I'll talk after. they're probably friendly with like the local towns too, since Shion did say that the other towns helped with the protests, right?
いやほんと脅しでも何でもなく
They couldn't argue against that. They themselves have been surrounded. They've seen it with their own eyes. There's no doubt about it.
ここいらじゃねえひなみ沢の人間に睨まれたらあっさり鬼隠しにあって消えちまうんですもう跡形もなく忽然とお兄さん方行方不明になったら誰か捜索願いを出してくれるご家族はいますいないならまずいな蒸発扱いですよ
Even then, we got there soon enough that nothing happened. If we'd been there late, things could have taken a turn for the worse. If they'd been forced into an alleyway, these young men wouldn't be sitting on a couch right now. They might be lying on the autopsy table. Well, probably not. Anyway, perhaps they'd be a little more cooperative if we found them as corpses.
お兄さん方沖宮へは何で来たのでバイクバイクそりゃまずいなさっきのとこにまだ止めっぱなしなんでしょあんたらのこのことバイクを取りに戻ったら今度こそ袋叩きに会いますよなんだよそれ上等じゃねえか
Fighting spirit. I like it. Calm down, calm down. Why are young people these days so quick with the shouting?
あんたらももう面倒事はごめんでしょうバイクのナンバー教えてくださいここまで持ってきてあげますからクマちゃん交通課対策にゲート車を借りてきてください別にいいよ自分たちで取りに行くからいいってあんたら本気で囲まれたいんですか今度は警察間に合わないかもしれませんよ
Yeah, just get out of town. It's too sketchy.
大丈夫だっつったんだろ囲み上等でおい
Oh,
お兄さん方
angry wishy face. Haven't seen that before.
泡の出る麦茶飲んだろエンジンかけてみろその場で飲酒取るぞこら汚ねえ
That was pretty smart.
警察が税金使って兄さん方のバイクを運びして死んぜよって言ってんだよごちゃごちゃ言わねえでナンバー言えってんだこのクソバカ野郎
The three were hesitant to tell him the numbers. They were mumbling something along the lines of not remembering them since they'd just bought the bikes. Well, that's what I thought, huh?
クマちゃんゲート車に同行してバイク持ってきてあげてごつい赤いやつとテールランプの右側が割れたやつあとシートにガムテ貼ってあった白いやつそれだろ兄さんたちのバイク
They didn't answer. Those must be the right ones.
おいさんゲート車来ましたんで行ってきます
はいはいよろしくお願いしますあとクマちゃんちょっと
なんすか
ナンバー紹介しといてください間違ったバイクを持ってきちゃうと悪いから
The three people's faces changed color. They made themselves very easy to understand. Oh, they might have stole
バイク
them.
戻ってくるまでのんびりしてましょうよビールもっとありますよ
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
乾き物だってありますしテレビ見ますろくなのやってませんけどね
いいよ俺たちもう行くからこんなとこにいつまでもいたくねえよ
Suddenly, there were 5 or 6 huge officers surrounding them. Their clearly overpowering stares nailed them to the sofa.
なんだよ俺たちが何かしたかよ
Going on a trip by stealing motorcycles, huh? Students these days have too much time on their hands. That was interesting. I don't know how much insight that gave to us, but it was from Uishi's point of view, so talked a little bit about his feelings. Almost leaned back a little too much. Feelings of the Hinamizawans. And I guess it dived a little bit about their relationships. again, but it was a Nuishi tip, which I guess is, I don't know, a Nuishi tip can't really be negative, right? Because it's not like he can lie to himself or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Next episode should be pretty cool, since we're gonna, or Keiichi's gonna get his all-you-can-eat desserts and just kind of go on a date with me, Shion. Yeah, that should be fun though. But for now, I'm gonna have to end it. Thank you for watching as always, and see you next time. Hope you're enjoying it. Bye.